What's up, good people? Here with Braiden Smith, KB Painting. What's up, my man? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. Good to
Thank you
see
for
you.
the welcome.
Yeah,
Appreciate you,
man.
man.
Yeah. So, man, you've hit some strides this year. This is a big year for you. I think there's been a lot of change, right? Marketing agency. I don't know how long you've been with Lucas, but tell me about the growth this year for you so far.
Yeah, man. So we started with Forward Media Marketing back in February. We were at a crossroads in our business. We didn't know which path we were going to go. We originally started out as a furniture refinishing company. Then we went into doing kitchen cabinet refinishing. Mind you,
Wow.
this all started out of the garage back in like 2018, like right before COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, we started out of the garage, started up our business. We didn't know which direction we were going to go, and sales were like at an all-time low. We thought that we were going to, run
Right.
ourselves into the ground out of business once we went into 2024. And we had just a little bit of money left in the account. And the mindset that I have is never give up, never quit. And we took our last bit of
Oh,
money that we had at the time, invested into Lucas and FMM, and I mean, our business just blasted off from there. We ended up going, I think, our first month with Lucas. Kaylee, what did you think we were at? It was like first month with Lucas. I think we cleared like 100K,
wow.
125K in our first month after
Wow.
implementing his plans.
Yeah, right on, man. That's great, dude. And it's hard to pull that trigger, man, especially when you're at the bottom. You've
Yeah,
seen it work.
of course.
So started with furniture, got into cabinets, found a marketing agency. Now are we all in on cabinets? You're doing houses. I think I saw a commercial that you put out. So you guys are obviously doing some houses now.
Yeah,
Expenses coming up. You got a salesperson I saw.
exactly.
So like there's a lot of change, right? And then so there's in other words, like the transition to salesperson, we're talking sales. Are
Yep.
you doing any sales or are you having him do sales? Like, what's that look like?
So for us, we had a salesperson at the very beginning. It didn't work out. My wife and I decided that her and I needed to take over sales here in the infancy stage of us,
Yeah,
selling these interior exterior projects. We just feel that we're going to be able to sell it better than anybody else, right? I
of
mean, we
course.
built the business, we
Agreed.
know the brand, so that's where we're at right now. At the current moment, is just us pretty much doing all of the sales.
Okay.
Um, you know,
What'd you do with the salesperson?
what was that? What did I do with the salesperson?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, man. I put him in multiple different positions throughout the company, and just no matter where I put him, it just would not work out. And
Sure.
so you and every once in a while you have those employees that you just kind of see that they're wasting money and they're not bringing anything to the table.
Okay.
And in this particular case, that's what we were dealing with. He just wasn't
Got
bringing anything to the table for us.
Yeah. Had to make the tough decision. Got it. So,
Exactly.
let's talk about what's going on now. I mean, obviously you're here for a reason. You're hitting maybe a little bit of a roadblock. There's so I want to just maybe talk some strategy. Tell me what's going on
Of
that
course.
you're feeling is not what it should be, or it could be a little bit better.
Yeah. So I would tell you that our roadblock right now, obviously, I mean, I don't think I'm the only one seeing it. We're definitely having some economy issues, definitely having some slowdown periods, at least from what I can see in my local market. I can tell you that here, just after looking at everything, you can definitely see that the market is, how do I put it, is very cutthroat right now. Everybody is just underbidding, chopping people's heads off with pricing, and it's just it's not even like the best company wins anymore. The best sales pitch wins. It's literally best price. That's what everybody's going for right now. Is what I'm noticing in my local market. And we have a lot of people that are that are literally painting out of the back of a truck that are underbidding us by sometimes half the price, and
Yeah.
you can't compete with that, and it makes you as a reputable premium painting company kind of look like a fool to the customer, because they're like, man, you're just trying to rip me off, you're just trying to charge me 50% more than the other guy. And it's like, you know it's proving very difficult to pitch yourself as a premium painting company when people aren't willing to pay the price.
Okay. So, you know, you're always going to deal with price objection. Always. I mean,
Of
that's
course.
a natural defense mechanism of a
Yeah.
buyer. It's always
Sorry, man,
tough.
I'm trying to get this internet to clear up on us
No, you're
here.
fine, bro. Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you good. You're good.
Perfect.
It'll
Okay.
clean up.
Cool.
Price is defense mechanism, man. And I think what you need to do is dive into the psychology, because if things have been coming fast for you earlier
Right.
in this year, psychology of sales and really getting intricate with value wasn't
Mhm.
at the forefront of your mind. You're like, cool, man, people are cranking. You're going to have
Right.
another high time. You're just
Of
experiencing
course.
a low time. You know that. But in the low time, this is where we regroup, man. We're in the barracks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We're getting
Right.
our
Right.
gear up. So when we hit
Exactly.
another low time, it just
Yep.
won't be this low. Dude, I hit a low time 4 weeks ago and I felt like the world was crashing down. I mean, we all go through that, but it's good to reference this. So I want to kind of ask you a little bit. I'd like to audit your sales process. Maybe I can find some holes because, in any case, you're going to battle price. It's just you have to understand that your only weapon against a price objection. I'm going
Hmm.
to challenge you. Do you know what that is?
My only weapon against a price objection.
Yeah, what is it? Do you just give me
I
one
mean,
word?
I will tell you my weapon against the price objection is going to be financing, but
Okay, 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 okay.
it's definitely a
So,
good
so you
one.
can't so you can't fight money with money. That's the mindset, right? Money does
Understood.
not fight money. Those things
Right.
work together against us sometimes. So the
Right.
only weapon you have really against a price objection is value because value can't be quantified, right? So you're fighting if you're saying financing, like financing is just numbers, right? So if you're looking at an analytical buyer, they're just going to compare those things. And
Right.
ultimately, generally speaking, when people tell you that your price is too high, all that means, Braiden, at the core of it is there's nothing to create there. In other words, when someone says that your price is too high, that means that there's nothing else to compare to other than the price.
Right.
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 So in other words, to the average human, like painting is the same. Like everyone goes into it. Here's the deal. We can't expect, and I'm just going to be real with you because I own a painting business. I could say this. Like
Of course.
I don't I don't expect people to get quotes from people that aren't quality. Right.
Of
I
course.
think generally speaking, most people can gather three good painting companies now.
Yeah.
Maybe 10,
Absolutely.
15 years ago, you
Yeah.
get like a decent painting company and you get two guys, a neighbor and a family member, right?
Of
Like
course.
that's usually what it had been. Now, dude, I can go to your house and Google painting companies and I'm going to get top three. Like people are not that uneducated,
Hmm.
but the reality is that we might believe that to be the case. And in other words, like it's like, well, you just want price. No, you just need more value. So I
Of
want to hit
course.
on that because if I give you a price objection and you have no ammunition, the first thought, just being real with you, is
Yep.
economy, uneducated buyer, other painters suck, they're slashing their prices. Now, that could be the case, and
Hmm.
you can't control any of that. And as a
Right.
business owner, it's important for you, Braiden, to have things that you can control. So let's talk about value. I want you to understand, and you may have heard my training on this. I'm not sure if you have, but
Hmm.
the concept of value is really what I can do for you that no one else can do for you. That's value.
It's funny you bring up value because I was actually thinking about this exact conversation about 4 days ago, literally there on Chat GPT. Because, in sales, so one thing I'll tell you about my background is that I actually had about a decade of sales experience working for cell phone carriers here in Southeast
Okay.
Florida.
Right
So
on.
that's where I came from. That was my original background. I definitely was not a trade painter. Um, but what I can tell you is that one of the biggest things in business, and this is for mega multi-billion-dollar companies, is value added services. You have to have value added services in your
Right.
pitch. And I 100% agree with what you're saying. And the idea that I started to come up with was, what is a value that I can add to a customer, to essentially make this pitch a little bit easier and set it to where I'm apart from everyone else. It's
Okay.
like
What did you come
that.
up with?
So the mentality that I came up with is I said, okay, so if I do an exterior, let's throw in like literally, it's gonna sound crazy. Throw in a complimentary door floodlight camera or a doorbell camera from
Okay.
Ring. Have it
Okay.
installed. Pay a sub
Okay.
electrical sub to install it for them.
Okay.
You
Good
know,
thought. Good
yeah,
thought. But here's the deal: tangible.
yeah,
Tangible.
yeah.
Okay. Tangible
Yep.
can be quantified. No, I don't want that Ring doorbell. Just give me $200 off. So
Well, you could do a
your
cash value too.
cash value, but again,
Yeah.
tangible value
Right.
is not the direction I'm heading here. It's intrinsic value because
Okay.
that really can't be quantified.
Yeah.
And I doubt that your competitors are zeroing in on intrinsic value. I have won this game simply by intrinsic value. Now,
Okay.
I won't say that it works every time, but you
Right.
have to be good at delivering it. It's like anything. It's like, dude, the way I'm approaching you right now, I'm just building up a delivery for this one thing here, right? You see,
Of
if I would have
course.
just came in and said, Braiden, your sales aren't working because you're not intrinsic value. What I'm
Mm,
really trying to do is help you understand the value behind the intrinsic value. Then I'm going to deliver the intrinsic value. Do you understand?
makes sense.
So I'm
Yes,
selling
absolutely.
you in a sense. And it's the
Okay.
same thing you want to do to your customers, right? So they can't value something they don't understand the value behind.
Of
So
course.
let's break this down. First thing you need to
Cool.
understand is that there's different types of customers that value different types of things. Let's
Okay.
walk through this. I call you Braiden. You're oh, I just lost you for a second. Oh, there you go.
I lost you there. Go ahead.
You got me?
Yeah, I
All right.
got you.
I'm calling you. I'm moving to Tampa, right? Hey, I'd like a painting estimate. I'm moving to Tampa. What's your approach to me? You
So
answered the
you'd like a painting estimate, and you're moving to Tampa, like as in like you're moving into a new home in
moving
my
into
area.
a new home, and I want the interior painted. I want the interior painted.
Okay.
Walk me through this process that you would implement to serve me.
It's so bad because Kaylee normally does the calls.
That's okay, but you
Yeah.
this is very here's a great way to go about this. Think of yourself as the homeowner.
Of course, of course. So what right off the bat, I would be obviously right immediately. Okay, when are you planning on closing? What's your closing date?
Okay.
When are you moving into the home?
Closing date is October.
Okay, so your moving date is October 15th. Perfect. So I know this is, dude, I'm so on the spot right now. I'm so
That's
bad at
okay.
role
This is what
play.
this is for, man. This is why we're here, is so we can get this out of the way now. So because you're going to be faced with this, right? You
Right,
need
of course.
ammo, bro. You know?
Of course. All right. So, okay. So you're moving in on October 15th. That's great.
Right.
Congrats on the new home and on the
Thank
new
you.
purchase.
Yeah.
We definitely would like to be your painting company. One
Okay.
thing I will tell you right off the bat about us is that we don't want to be just your painters for today. We want to be the painters for the rest of your life.
Sounds great.
We're a very reputable company here in Port St.
Okay.
Lucie, and I'm changing over to Port St. Lucie
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Okay.
So, we're a very reputable company here in Port St. Lucie. You've called the right company, and we'd
Okay.
love to go ahead and assist you with your project.
Cool.
Do you have any ideas as to how many square feet, the place is?
Okay. So let me diagnose that, because on a deep level, this is so good, dude. Because I'm gonna refine because you have natural communication elements.
Right.
You just need direction in how you go about this.
Of course.
The entire first minute of your speech was all about you.
Yep.
That's the problem here. It's all about what you are and what
Needs
you're
to be
trying
about
to
the
get out of
customer.
it, right? In other words, you're saying, I want to do so good that you keep calling me to keep paying me. That's what I'm hearing as a buyer, right?
Right.
In other words, what you're not doing is you're not understanding what his desires are. What is the true desire of someone that's moving in? Do you think like the component of moving in is so exciting that like the only thing they were really looking forward to is the painting?
Of course not. There's so many things going through their head right now. They're thinking
Damn about the painting. They probably don't even want to, really. I mean, they're like, I'm just buying this house, and part of the deal is I got to paint it, or my wife wants me to paint it, and it's like,
of course,
no one wants to spend that extra money on painting when they probably in the back of their head think what?
Yeah, they're probably thinking that they've got a lot more to deal with. So I'm plugging you in right here.
Themselves, true, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So watch this, because I want you to see this, because this is what's happening. This is showing up in a lot of different areas. When you don't have the intrinsic value to give to the customer, then the only thing that you have is the value that you think that they want. And that is, I want you to believe that we're great. Okay, well, so are the other 5-star companies. Like,
exactly.
I bet they want my business for life too, right? Yep. So the thing is you need to know what their end goal is, and then you're going to position your offer in front of them that aligns with that, and they're going to think, damn, that was good. Like, that was good, right? So let's break this down. I've never given anyone this much of a breakdown. I don't think I need to go farther than this with you, because I could see you're getting it. So the first thing is, I'm stressed out because I'm moving. Number one, yes? Okay. Yep. So I'm stressed out. Number two, okay, I have to call painting companies. Is that risky, yes or no?
Yeah, it's risky.
Okay. Okay, my brand new house.
You could make the wrong move and end up screwing the house up. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. What else is an issue is timeline. And you did a great job. That was a great first question. When's the closing date? Some people who I asked that to don't even ask that. That's very important, right?
It is important. Right? You need to know. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to know that, because why? Who else is involved in the closing date, generally speaking, is movers, right? You got to, timeline's important, right? Another thing is as a homeowner, I'm a little concerned because I got to let you in the house.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So one of the questions you asked when I diagnosed your approach was, do you know the square footage of the house? Isn't that something you could look up?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I can figure that out on my own. Right. So it's not even a necessary question.
Not even a necessary question. So let's remove unnecessary work for the customer. Right.
Of course.
I think it's this. Hey, don't worry. We can
Yeah,
look it up. We got the square footage.
of course.
Another thing is they're probably concerned about getting you into the house to go look at it. Now, generally speaking, Braden, you've been doing this for not 18, 6 years, 7 years. Dude,
Yeah,
generally speaking, brother, me and you could get on Zoom. We can go on Zillow and look at
yeah,
60 photos, and I guarantee you our pricing is going to come pretty close, right?
yeah,
And couldn't
most
we
likely.
put a caveat in our terms and conditions that says, hey, if we see something that's not easily visible on these photos, we're gonna have to reassess pricing,
Yeah, then we
right?
have to have a conversation. Exactly.
Right. And I think that's another concern that we can alleviate for this customer. So let me I'm gonna redesign this whole thing. I'm gonna be the customer now. I'm gonna be the business owner. You're gonna be the contractor. You
Okay.
call me, tell me what you want, and I'll give you my approach.
Okay. Perfect. Um, Hey, how's it going? I'm actually looking. I'm here in Port St. Lucie, or I'm moving to Port St. Lucie, I should
Okay.
say, and just purchased a home here in Tradition out in Riverland. And I would like to have the interior of my home painted. I need everything done. I need walls, trim, doors, ceilings, all of it. I just need a full refresh. All the walls and everything are primed right now. I just need it painted.
Oh, Mr. Smith, man, you called the right company. Believe it or not, we specialize in this. So if you don't mind, let me just explain how our process works for your unique situation. Would that be okay?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. All right. So I have a couple questions for you. First, when are you closing?
My closing date is gonna be on October 2nd.
Okay, October 2nd. Awesome. So we need to get moving, right? So here's the good news. We do have availability if we move forward. Generally speaking, based on what you're telling me, we have the resources. So that's a good thing. Second, chances are it's going to be kind of tricky to get in the house. So here's the deal. What I'd prefer to do, let's get the address. I'm going to look it up online and I can actually quote this virtually. Reason why? Because that's all we do is full house repaints. So
Oh,
that's one less thing that you have to worry about, Mr. Smith. Are you okay with that?
that's really simple. So you don't need to send somebody out to my house?
We don't need to get the realtor involved. We don't have to get the key code, nothing. I guarantee you there's 60 plus high quality photos on this beautiful house that you're about to purchase that'll give me all the information I need. You
Wow,
pretty
that
much
makes it
told me
really.
you want the ceiling, the walls, the trim, the doors, the closets. This is bread and butter for us. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Very simple.
Awesome. When are the movers scheduled?
The movers, so we're scheduled to close October 2nd. The movers are planning on being in there October 1st, the evening, throughout the evening, most likely.
Okay, so here's the deal. What I would suggest, many movers are okay with this. What I would suggest is based on what I tell you, I'm going to tell you the exact amount of days. And I promise you, we will hit that on the mark if I have to go there and paint it myself. But generally speaking, if I give you a final date, we'll put it in the contract. Again, assuming that nothing outside of the ordinary is going to happen. What we like to do is have those movers come on that date. And we have no problem having our office communicate with them to ensure there's smooth alignment because we want to do a great job for you. And the last thing we want is movers coming in and out during our project. So if I can promise you an end date within 24 hours, would that be okay with you?
That would be fantastic.
Awesome. Great. So we're moving pretty good. Now, real quick, you bought this house. I assume that you want to change the color.
Yeah, so right now, you know how builders are, man. They make everything white. It's all white.
Sure.
The whole
Oh,
house
it's
is white
terrible.
right now. So
Terrible. Well,
yeah,
here's
I definitely want to add a little bit of color,
sure.
maybe an accent wall or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, one thing with a brand new house, in my experience, generally speaking, we only have to do the walls and the ceiling, right? So you said you wanted the trim and the doors. I'll probably save you a bunch of money. It's usually not worth it unless you see something wrong with it. So if it's okay with you, why don't I just give you a quote on the walls and the ceiling? And then I'm sure you're going to be doing a walkthrough at some point before you close. If you want to take a second look at that trim and you say, hey, Tanner, I want a fresh coat on all the trim, we'll make a quick hot fix adjustment and we'll get it done. But generally speaking, my experience, it's not worth it. We will do 2 coats of high quality paint that you can wipe on the walls. And of course, we'll put some fresh white paint on the ceiling because it's probably some off-white colors. That sound okay?
I love that. Now you don't have to shoot me with a super high price.
No, not at all. We're all about
Gotcha.
value here, Mr. Smith.
Yeah,
We're all
no, I
about
get it.
value. Now, the last thing is, have you chosen those colors? Do you have an idea of what you're looking for?
Honestly, that's a wife question. I mean,
Cool.
that's up to her. Whatever she
Got it.
decides,
Yeah,
she could
likewise.
do.
I understand. I'm married. I get it. So here's the deal. One thing that we do is we actually do virtual color consultations. So I can put you in touch with our decorator. They can do a lot of work over the phone. We can send you to the paint store. We'll buy you a couple samples. You can put it on some poster board and really get an idea of what these colors look like. We want to get as much of this information before we start the job as possible. We want to leave nothing to guess, nothing to chance. How does that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
Awesome. Excellent. So here's the deal. And I'm just going to be upfront with you, Mr. Smith. This is our specialty. Hopefully I'm showcasing some value to you. The reality of the situation is you close in under 3 weeks. I'm going to send you a proposal today. Now, the reality is being honest, we do about 20 estimates a week. Our goal is to fill our team schedule. I'm sure you know that. So with that said, I'm going to send you a proposal. On the proposal, it's going to ask you to agree, sign. Of course, if you have any questions, you can call us. But if you feel as though we're the right fit, go ahead and put down your deposit. Now, just so you know, we have a deposit refund guarantee. And that guarantee means that if you, for whatever reason, do not buy this house, we will refund that deposit. Really, the deposit is just to protect the integrity of our schedule. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Awesome. So I would definitely need an answer today. So I need you to sign that today in order to guarantee the time frame that you gave me. Now, if that time frame changes, totally fine. But again, we have to, put pedal to the metal here. Does all that make sense? Do I need to go over anything else?
No, that all makes very good sense. You're making it super simple for me.
I'm going to have a quote to you within the hour.
Okay, fantastic. I will review that with my wife and get back with you.
Okay. Can you tell I've done that a few times?
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay. What do you think about that?
You're definitely eliminating any potential for sales objections. I mean, I'm sure you're still going to get them. They're going to, say, oh, well, I'm not really ready to move forward right now. I want to call other companies first. I'm just getting prices. I got to call 3 more companies. You know what I mean?
So that's called leveraging the need, right? But here's the thing. We can't assume that people know that our schedule's full. We can't assume that people know that like the painting process is that dialed in, right? So in other words, that's fine. When he calls the next painting company, he's probably going to get someone that did what you did, right? That's going to want to meet the realtor, that's going to take their time on the quote, that's going to not ask the questions that I already answered that now he's equipped with. And he's going to say, well, why didn't you mention the movers? Because the movers are a big component. There's things that our customers are going to run into that we can prevent them from running into because we're experts in value. We understand the roadmap of what it's going to be like for a homeowner buying a home, dealing with a painting company, because we've already experienced this. And you can take it a step further. You talk about value. You're like, hey, I'm thinking tangible value, right? So here's the deal. You talk about a Ring doorbell. That's a really good thought, right? It's not a bad thought. It's just, does everyone want that? No.
Yeah.
What about something that relates to this customer? I'm going to challenge you here. What do you think would be valuable to someone moving in their home? Something tangible that you can give them to stack the deck. Think of the most valuable thing you could give. And I know the answer, so don't be afraid to just shoot something out, but I'm going to give you my answer and I think you'll agree with me. But tell me something that you can add in terms of a service or something to this specific customer moving into a new home, getting a paint job. What would you say is valuable?
I mean, it's going to sound kind of crazy to think about, but I mean, you really, that wouldn't work because you're not really you wouldn't be doing it for free. I was going to say something in terms of like the moving job, like help them out on the moving job type of deal.
Hey. I don't know if your insurance will like that, but close.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they'd be very
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. Cleaning company, right? So another thing that we do after the job is done is we're actually going to send our cleaners in and just do a complete wipe down of everything. So your house feels as new as it did when you did your walkthrough, right? So as a business owner, Braiden, you need to be thinking of the different types of customers that you deal with and the different reasons as to why they want the job done. And then you should have different value for each one. Could it be both tangible and intrinsic value? Sure. In my case, I gave them both. The value is that if you go with me, it's a better bet and there's less risk. And I mentioned nothing about the painting, did I? There was nothing about our process.
Didn't talk about the paint. Didn't talk about the finish. Didn't talk about the shitting, nothing.
This is about the experience. But if he doesn't know the value and I haven't given it to him the way I gave it to you just now, then it has no weight because he doesn't know the problems that we know could happen. Now, I'm not saying sell with fear. This is just selling with value and stacking the deck and creating a reason to move forward with urgency. Could you use the same strategy with an old lady who hasn't painted in 10 years that's not moving?
Probably not.
What strategy will we use with her? It's different. I mean, let's go through this one. Old lady, she's single. Keeps her house nice. It's time for a freshen up of the exterior. Okay. So tell me how you would approach her and what value you would give her, because we're not going to ask her what the closing date is, right? We're not going to send the cleaning company. What are we going to do for her?
Well, so if it was in her particular case, she's old, she's elderly, she can't really do much. I mean, in our case, hey, listen, ma'am, don't worry, you've chosen the right company. We're going to handle everything for you. All you have to do is sit on the couch and let us do our job. You know,
We. All the way home. Stop with the we. Braiden, stop with the we. Oh my God. It's not about you. Sales is
yeah,
not about you. Sales is about helping someone get to where they want to go, not where you
right,
want to go. It's
right,
we. I know your intent is pure. So with this lady, think deeper, right? She's a single lady, right? So we have to find why she wants it done. And you got to ask, even though
yeah,
you might know, ask. Why are you interested in getting your house painted? It looks okay, right?
okay,
You might uncover a few things. We got to is it color?
mm-hmm.
Is it durability and longevity, right?
Right, right,
Is it because the neighbors got it done and it's hurt them, right? I
uh-huh.
mean, or do you plan on selling this in 10 years maybe? Is that the goal? Just prepare for selling. So based on any of those four options, that's how we present the value. Because again, we is what everyone else is doing. But if she tells you, Braiden, here's the deal. If she tells you this, if she says, well, I want to upkeep my house every 6-7 years. Okay, well, when was the last time you had the house painted? It was 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little soon for me. Well, one thing that you're going to like is our partner, Sherwin-Williams. They have a really great product. And what I'd be willing to do is give you a 10-year warranty on this. So you don't have to do this for 10 years.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's an approach. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone, but you only get that when you ask the
Right.
intrinsic reason, then you can provide intrinsic value.
Right.
See?
Yep. And then, like you said about value on the interior, you said you call in a cleaning crew. Well, in our case, we actually provide a pressure cleaning. We do the entire pressure cleaning for you, take care of all of that, get it all washed off, get all that dirt off. Because, at KB Painting and Refinishing, we really truly believe that the prep is the prep is the job.
Expected. You're not, but Braiden, that right there is not anything new. Everyone's doing that.
Of
Everyone's doing
course.
pressure
Of,
washing.
of
But
course.
what you can do is you can look for things that wouldn't normally be included in a pressure wash. So, for
Okay.
example, if I go to a house and I'm trying to really wow an exterior customer, I'd say, hey, listen, typically in our jobs, we pressure wash the house. That's expected. I'm sure you would
Of
agree. Of
course.
course.
Right. Right.
It's so expected that customers ask about it, right? So
Yeah, they know.
that's nothing we want to celebrate. It's like, hey, when we come to your house, we actually paint, So,
yeah.
so,
I love
so
it.
I'm looking for things around the house, like
Yeah.
the screen that has algae on it, and I'm saying, hey, you know what I'd be willing to do for you? Is I'd be willing to throw in a complete clean on the screen, and we'll get the pool deck cleaned up for you as well, right? So that is value. Value is like a sense of goodwill. It's like more than what's expected of you, right?
Going
So I
above
want you
and
to understand.
beyond. Going
Right.
above and beyond,
You think
exactly.
the guy who's moving in expects the painter to be that aware of the surroundings
Mm-hmm.
in the scenario that we went over? No, of course
No,
not. They were
probably not. Yeah,
expecting to do work. They were expecting, okay, I got to make sure. In other words, like I got to equip myself to make sure that the painter understands the severity of my time frame.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Of
So
course.
another example, here's another one that you may run into, dude. You're in Port St. Lucie. There's a lot of HOA communities there. Would you
Oh, a
agree with
ton.
that?
Yep.
Ton. I'm sure you get a couple phone calls from people that need to get it painted because the HOA has sent them a letter.
Pretty
Agree?
common. Pretty common.
Pretty common, right?
Yep.
So I call you and I say, hey, HOA just sent us a letter. We need a quote to paint. What value can you give to me?
Well, the biggest value is going to be that you're in a time crunch. So the question
Okay.
is, what date did they give you? When do you have to have it done by?
Okay, good. Beautiful. Just like that, right?
Yep.
Date, cool. Got the date. Now you're concerned about their concerns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the salesperson becomes the advocate for the goal.
Right.
Like we're
trying
working
to help
together.
you through this process. You have a big
Yes.
problem, and we want to help you work it out.
Right. You're not
So
coming to me because I'm holy. You're coming to me because we need to, work together to get to the goal. And if you don't have a clear understanding of the goal, here's the good news, dude. The good news is that there's a finite amount of goals. All it takes is for you to sit down and think of the 7 or 8 scenarios that you run into each and every time, and then think of unique ways to provide intrinsic value and unique ways to provide external value. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so the HOA time. All right, so here's the deal. Listen, I know you're in a time crunch. Do you have availability to meet me today or tomorrow?
Yeah, you want to build that urgency. Yeah.
Urgency, dude. It's like, yeah. Well, no, I work. Don't even worry about it. Tell you what, let me go to the house. Is it okay with you? Is there any access in the back? right?
Yep.
Some
Call
people are
me
so
in the
caught
gate.
up about having both people there where they sit down and there's dude,
Yeah.
make it convenient for me and I'll buy from you. You know
Of
what I'm
course.
saying?
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
if I got to sit down with my kids and my wife and make sure the kids are what I don't want that. Not everyone like wants that. Like, so think about what you would want in that scenario. You do not value painting because you would have gotten it done. And you're
Mhm.
now being fined because you failed to get it done.
Mhm.
So urgency is part one of the value,
Right.
right?
Right.
Urgency is part one, but that's not enough. Because
Mhm.
again, you have to justify that hefty price that you're putting on the paper,
Of
right?
course. Absolutely.
So education is number two, how to prevent this from happening again. So I noticed here that you have a lot of algae on the right side of the house. One of the products that we use is Sherwin-Williams Rain Refresh. It actually has a self-cleaning component to it. So you only really need to wash the thing once a year and it'll have a slick surface. The HOA shouldn't bother you for the next 10 years about this. And
Right.
ultimately, we'll put 10 years on the work in terms of warranty if anything peels, fades, or cracks. Right. So now, ultimately, what you're doing is you're preventing the problem from happening again. And now
Right.
here's the third component. Watch this. And I've sold jobs with this component here. You're going to like this one, Braiden. Give me the information to the HOA. As soon as you sign, we're going to send them an email with the proposal, get them off your back, because ultimately, now that they know we're in contract, we have 30 days to schedule it.
Send them insurance and all of that stuff. Yep.
Now you're an advocate. Now you're, oh yeah, thanks, man. You know,
Solve my-
just, yeah. So
Yeah.
did this conversation help you see kind of a different angle?
Yeah, it's a totally different perspective. I didn't think of it that way, and you're right. It's like now I don't want to say the word "we." I'm kind of scared. I'm
You
like, oh
shouldn't.
man, I'm gonna get beat
You
up by
shouldn't.
Tanner.
You shouldn't. But here's the thing. It's like, I'm coming. Would you say?
Yeah, man,
You know,
like you to
like-
jump through the screen,
like-
come and get me.
but here's the key. The best part about this is, and I'm just going to give you the opening statement that I've used for years. It's never changed. It's as core as it can be. And that statement is, what's the story? Like, tell me the story. Tell me how we arrived to you calling me on a deep level. Because if you think the only thing that I offer you is to paint, then I failed you in some way, right?
Mhm.
Like if someone walks away and thinks, well, if they get hired, then they're going to do a great job painting. Like if that's the only thing, if I came in a half an hour after you left an estimate and I interviewed your customer and I said, hey, just curious. I mean, like, what do you think you're getting out of hiring Braiden?
Mhm.
And they might say a great paint job and they want me to be a customer for life. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like Braiden, dude, where's the value here, man? Like we
Right.
got to make sure that we understand that there's so much more to this game of sales.
Right.
And you have to understand, if you want people to hire you for a higher price, in other words, like they look at 2 painting estimates and it
Right.
says super paint, exterior satin, super paint, exterior satin, pressure washing. It says tape, caulk, plastic, prep. Great. It says 3 days, and one's 5,000 and one's 3,000. They would be psychotic to hire you.
Yeah.
It would make no sense.
Right.
Wouldn't that be silly? Like they just, you know what? Let me just give Braiden $2,000.
They're apples for apples, and it's a $2,000 price difference.
You need to play a different game.
Right.
That's the game I'm on. That's the game that keeps us running. That's the game that
well,
makes
you know, the company that's going to do it for $3,000 though, are they going to take all the algae off my windows?
great. And then again, you got to understand that
Yeah.
one thing that I want you to walk away from is stop worrying about what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. When you lose a job, don't get angry in a sense of like, you're going to get a bad deal. Assume that everyone does better than you in terms of quality. Just assume that. That's how I approach it. Assume that everyone's better, but not everyone's going to care as much. And you can't compete with care.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yep.
And you got to convey that in ways outside of painting, because the average homeowner doesn't care about the components of painting. That's why they're hiring you to do it. And that's why most of our customers don't ask technical questions, because they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you bombard them with technicalities, they're just going to say, well, he's an expert. You know, people can relate to intrinsic stuff. Oh, he's going to protect my plants. That obviously he saw how. Have you ever ran into an estimate where you have a customer outside working on their plants? Have you ever done that? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it happens. Like Kaylee says, it happens. A lot.
Right? Like you pull up and they got the gloves on, dude, and they're out there with the plants. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. And they're like, oh, hey, you know, and they're wearing the hat and they get up and they're like, Oh, it's good to see you, right? Like
Yeah.
at that point, I don't even care about the painting. We're talking plants. And I'm going to tell you how important it is to me to make sure. I'm going to say, hey, if we get these jobs, let me tell you, I'm going to put a tent over these things. You must care about them a lot. Yeah, because when we spray these soffits here, there's a good chance that there's overspray. So I just want to make you aware that I'm seeing how much you care about these, and we're going to cover them. And then that just like breaks the whole ice. And it's like, don't you think that someone's who's that concerned about plants has thought about, man, I really don't know if I want people stepping on them or putting overspray on them. And then I'd say, hey, check this out. We have this really cool app. It's called Company Cam. And we actually have a checklist. And one of those things is, look at that. Can you read that? Cover plants.
Cover plants. Right. Exactly.
Now, would I show that to the old lady who wants to move, who doesn't care about? No, dude. It's like, you got to understand, man, this is a different game. And if you just approach it like this, if you listen first, no more we. It's you. It's value. It's value. It's value. It's value. I don't care how much I will go to war for you to make sure that we hit that deadline, to make sure that you don't have to call your movers and embarrassingly tell them that we can't make the deadline and convey that. Right. So that's what
so you would say on the case of somebody that's moving and closing on a new home, the most important thing to them is right off the bat is going to be, I have to have this done within this deadline.
No, these are the best customers because they value two things equally, right?
Okay.
So some customers value quality. The other customers value time. Let me give you an example. A customer that is our old lady who's staying in the home, she values quality. She's not leaving, right? Does she value urgency? Could you close her on time frame? Of course not. You can't say, oh, we'll get in here next week. She's like, dude,
she don't care. I've been dealing with this for 15 years.
Right. And then you have someone that's moving out. Right. And they need to get the realtor in there, take pictures, or that's someone.
So the urgency is super high.
Do they care about quality?
Right.
No, they care about selling their home.
Yeah, they're flipping it. They want to get out.
So these are two different components here. But what's so unique about people that are moving in is they care about both equally. And that if you can hit both, that means that you can sell for a higher clip because the value is so great. In other words, you're a person and a business that focuses on quality and focuses on time, right? For that customer, because that's what's important to them because they're moving in. They don't want you to do a sloppy job. They want a long lasting job, but it also has to be done in a tight time frame. And those two things put you in such a category where someone can actually justify paying exponentially more than the competitor.
Right.
Make sense?
Yep, it does. Absolutely.
So that's what I got for you, brother. What do you think?
I love it. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is going to help. And it opens up my mind that it's something that I need to start looking at, right? I got to start analyzing.
Here's something to implement. Here's something to implement. When you get phone calls, she's answering the phone. A good thing would be for you to always log the why. Always. Just curious, what's the story? Why'd you reach out? Oh, I want my house painted. Yeah, but are you looking to change color? And well, the kids are moving out, right? Then you'll get that deeper motivation.
What's the occasion, basically?
What's the occasion? What are we doing? I've used occasion. Is there a party? Is there something going on? I had one lady who had an estimate out for an entire year. Then she called back and wanted me to relook at it. And then we dove deeper and she does like a big Halloween block party in her neighborhood, dude. And she called me in like September and it was like 4 weeks out. We were booked, but I used that as leverage. Like I used her deepest motivation, which was to have her house looking great for this Halloween block party she does. Right. And we got it done. Right. So, I mean, dude, it's so much there, man. You cannot compete with other painting companies on painting. Just assume that. Right. And it's the same way I think about DripJobs, believe it or not. It's like, sure, are there other companies that are better than us at certain things? Of course there are. And if all we do is get worked up over people saying, well, this software has this and this software has this and this, dude, I don't care what they have. No one's going to message you at 12 o'clock at night. No one's going to pick up the phone. No one cares about you more than I do. Now, you can't quantify that. And that's okay with you. That's how we've gotten here. So it's like, it's the same thing I do in my painting business. Like, great, other companies are doing that. But remember, I promised you this, which is in relation to what's most important to you. So So use that framework, man. I think it's going to make a big difference in your interactions, which will ultimately increase your sales. You know, I think you got to give it a few shots. You got to really dive in. I think outline the different reasons, outline how you can provide intrinsic value, and then outline the external value. Like you said, a Ring doorbell. I think what would be smarter is you keep a couple Amazon gift cards in your back pocket, and you say, hey, listen, I'm presenting a price to you today. Really, what happens when most customers get a price is they think about it, and then we have to follow up. I'll tell you what, we're running a little promo now. Do you shop at Amazon? Oh, you do? Well, I have a $200 gift card that we can give you if you decide to move
You
forward
heard that,
today.
Kaylee? You heard that one? Walk around with a stack of gift cards in your pocket. I love it.
Yeah, but again, like those, you don't know if people value it, but they'll value what they can do with a gift card. So, you know, look,
Yeah.
man, there's all sorts of ways to get creative, and I'm with you on that. It's just make sure that it's tailored to the individual because not everyone values the same things.
That
Got
makes
it?
a lot of sense, man. Appreciate
Good
that.
luck, brother. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
me.
Thank you so
Good luck.
much.
Keep me updated.
Absolutely. Hey, I will give you an update as soon as I see how it goes.
Love it, bro. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.